guys, welcome to Lisa Loves. Bit of a different background today, just chilling on the sofa. Got a bit of spare time to myself for an hour or so, so I'm going to do some videos. So I'm going to kick off with this week's weekly catch-up on what I've watched for the past week, which isn't actually an awful lot, to be fair. So if you can hear something in the background, I'm listening to the radio, that's all that is. So let's kick off the week with the first movie of the week that I watched, which I absolutely adored. I cannot believe I've never heard of this movie before. It is the I've written 06, is that right? 2006 movie, The Host, which is a Korean movie. Oh my goodness, I love this movie so much. I've never seen this. Someone suggested this to me on our Horror Hangout live stream a few weeks ago. This is a story about a man who has a daughter. He's not the best dad. He's a klutz. He's really careless, really clumsy, not the best of fathers. He works with his dad in a little like seaside stall type thing, or harbour stall that sells different things to eat. And I won't say why or how it comes about, but there is something in the ocean that is capturing people and eating them and whatever. And I don't want to say any more about what happens, but the story centres around this family and this thing, this monster thing that's in the ocean. Oh my god, there's nothing about this I didn't like. The effects of the creature were amazing. The acting was first rate, the script was amazing and so funny, and I'm not one for being scared and laughing at the same time, usually, because so few people do it well. But this was just incredibly well done. Special effects, acting, story, cinematography, everything about this I adored. I was a bit concerned as it neared an end that they were going to end it very stereotypically, which they didn't, which I loved. I don't want to go into any more detail about the ending, but I was surprised at how they ended it. I'll not say exactly how I felt because it'll give too much away. But if you have not seen this movie, The Host, 2006 movie, Korean movie, please watch it. You will not regret it because it was incredible. Next off was the second watch of Ready Player One, which we went to see in the cinema, watched on DVD recently. Loved it the first time, loved it the second time. Next one is actually, I was watching Jen's reviews from the grave last week, and Christian mentioned a movie called Bomb City, which I hadn't actually heard about. I had heard about this case vaguely. This is an awesome watch, guys. I really recommend this, Bomb City. It's a true story. Anyone in the US will remember this when I explain to you, about a punk called Brian Dennehy. I think he was 19. And it's the whole story of he is run over by a jock, a high school jock basically, perfect record. High school football player, parents go to church every Sunday, are involved in the community. The guy's a little gobshite, but that doesn't matter. The other guy is a punk and he's just a waster, he's a criminal, blah de blah blah blah, all the anti-alternative thing. And long story short, the court case involves the jock purposefully running down the Brian Dennehy and he kills him. He knocks him over. And believe it or not, guys, he got no criminal conviction at all. I won't go into any other details of the conviction and what happened, but this is the story about what happened. Marilyn Manson actually spoke out about this at the time, I remember this. And he is actually, his voice is at the end of the movie, and I love how they actually done it. The movie ends, and as happens when movies end, you get the writing come up to tell you, and then this happened, and then that happened, and blah blah blah. But as all this is coming up, and there's pictures of the real people you've just watched a movie about, the real Brian Dennehy, and Marilyn Manson's voice is in the background. Now, I'm a massive Marilyn Manson fan. I've even got my Marilyn Manson tattoo back here somewhere. He is such an intelligent, well-read man. I don't care what you think of his music or his performance, Marilyn Manson is extremely well-educated and talented and intelligent. Did I say intelligent twice? Myself and my husband immediately recognised his voice, well, because we're fans. But for anyone that doesn't know that much about him, to recognise him by his voice alone, he's speaking about the situation, and he comes across as incredibly well educated and learned, and just doesn't come across as how he looks. And it waits until he's almost finished everything he has to say, and then it cuts to a TV screen with him talking. And I'm sure there's an awful lot of people, had they shown that image of Marilyn Manson talking, would have just switched off, would have been like, that guy's a gobshite, what does he know? But you listen to what he says, because what he's saying is true, and he's got a point, and the movie forces you to listen to that point before revealing to you that this is this weird looking guy with the two different coloured eyes, with the contact in one and the makeup and the hair, and don't judge a book by its cover, folks. That's the message. And you would not believe the court case of this young lad, where he's wearing, as many people, I have quite a punk / rock background / goth. One of my favourite band, Backyard Babies, are like punk sleaze band. A lot of young people wear the names of albums and bands on backs of leather jackets. I did myself. And this young lad has the name of a band called Filth on the back of his jacket, and the album is called Destroy Everything. That's used against him in court, saying that he had an agenda to go out and destroy everything. That's what he's all about. The chains that punks wear are weapons, they're always ready. It really, really got to me, this movie. It's a fantastic movie. I knew of the case, but as is often the case, which shouldn't be, you forget these things. This is fantastic. 2017 movie. Check it out, guys. Bomb City. In the UK also, I don't know if people in America are aware, we had the case of the young goth girl called Sophie Lancaster from the north of England, and they're trying to categorise violence against people because of how they look, i.e. this girl was part of the goth culture, that lad was a punk. They're trying to categorise crimes against these people as hate crimes because, it is a hate crime. This girl was beaten to death. This group of trendy lads attacked her boyfriend, and she jumped in to try and defend her boyfriend, and they beat her to death and stomped on her head, etc, etc. This girl, beautiful girl, really slight, slim, beautiful, beautiful person, and they murdered her. And I don't know how far, that reaches and whether the news of that got to America, but yeah, there's been a long history of violence against people of an alternative appearance, nature, lifestyle, and it needs to stop. Sorry for getting on the soapbox a bit there, folks, but it has to be said. So check out Bomb City, it's well worth a watch, and massive thanks to Christian for pointing that one out. I didn't know about that movie, I really enjoyed it. Enjoyed's maybe the wrong word. Performances in this were amazing. The young lad, I'm going to lighten the mood a bit here. I should have looked up this lad's name. The lad that plays Brian Dennehy, I had to look it up at the end what age he was because I was feeling like a real pervert. This lad is beautiful. He's 29. I felt a bit better about that. I'm still older than him, but I thought, oh Christ, don't make this a 19 or 20-year-old because I'm going to feel like a complete perv. But he's 29. I still feel like a bit of a perv, it has to be said, but oh my goodness, this guy is just stunning. I fell in love watching this actor in this movie. I've forgotten his name. He reminded me of a young Adrian Brody. If anyone's seen Summer of Sam, where Adrian Brody plays the punk, oh God, I want to watch that again. Oh God, he reminds me of a young Adrian Brody. Beautiful. As a matter of fact, all the lads in, I'm thinking these are some pretty handsome punks here. I've not seen very many punks that attractive. But yeah, that's me lightening the mood. It's a really serious movie, folks. Check it out. I'll stop waffling. How long? 10 minutes. I apologise. If it makes you feel better, I haven't got very many movies this week, so I've just talked a little bit longer about that one. The next one was recommended to me by Cecil from the horror show. When I put on Facebook how much I enjoyed the host, he said, have you seen Grubbers? No, I hadn't seen Grubbers. This is a 2012 movie set in Ireland of all places. I hadn't seen it. The lead girl in it's called Lisa. I hadn't seen it. What is wrong with me? This movie made me roar. It's so funny. For anyone that has seen Grubbers, the way they portray the Irish people in this movie is spot on. That's how we are, folks. It's... People can maybe get offended about the whole drunken, stupid stereotype, But in this, I think people of an Irish nature laugh at themselves. Most of the cast in this are Irish. A couple aren't, but the rest are. The story about this is, again, sea creatures. They have a little bit in common with the xenomorph from Alien, that's all I'll say. And they have a habit of grabbing people. This English scientist is desperately trying to find this, like, brilliantly descriptive, impressive name for them. And he's doing all this scientific research, but this old guy called them Grubbers, and that's what they're called from thenceforth, Grubbers, because they grab you. But the way they talk, the colloquialisms they use, I was really surprised. I'm thinking people won't know what these guys are saying. Like, someone comes in and asks to borrow an iron, and the barman says, yeah, I'll go hook one out for you. And I'm thinking, people won't have a clue. To go hook something out means to go, like, look for it if it's buried away. I'm going to hook that out. I'm going to dig it out. That's what hook means. But it used loads of colloquialisms like that. And I loved it. It was just so refreshing and funny and endearing and sweet. And I loved it. It was excellent. So Grubbers. Fully thumbs up, endorsed by Irish person. Love it. Spot on. Next, I'll do these 3 in 1 actually. Freddy, 2018 movie, A Dog Gone Hollywood, 2017 movie, and My Pet Dinosaur, 2017. Reason I'm putting these 3 together is I reviewed them with Isaac for Geek Legion of Doom. They're all 3 sort of family/kids movies. I do the reviews for that channel, so I'm not going to review them on here because Leo is kind enough to let me do some reviews, and he let Isaac in on a couple of reviews, which Isaac was ecstatic about. So yes, I know the one for My Pet Dinosaur is up, and the one for Freddy is up. The other I don't think has yet, but I will put links in the descriptions to the ones that are up. If you've got kids, if you fancy watching something family orientated, I'll put links to those reviews if you want to check them out. But you should keep your eye on Geek Legion of Doom's channel anyway, because it is awesome, does some great reviews, so yeah. And lastly, this is a disgrace. I've watched 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 movies this week. What a disgrace am I. 3 of those were family movies. One of them I'd seen before, but of the ones I hadn't seen before, oh my god, The Host, Bomb City and Grubbers, 3 gems. Absolutely loved all 3 of them. The last one I watched last night, Here Comes the Devil. That's the 2012 movie. I'm going to have a go. Ahí va el diablo. I did do Spanish, so I can sort of pronounce my Spanish. So, right. I don't know where to go with this movie. It's a movie about a couple that their 2 children go missing, and when they come back, they're not entirely as they were when they left. The version of this that I saw was dubbed. I abhor dubbed versions of anything. I hate it. I want to hear the natural language. You lose all kind of inflection. The voice actors were crap. It was really like, it was painful. It was awful. But I persevered. I thought, I'm going to watch it and see if the story's any good. I thought it was average. Had it had the real voice actors, or the real voices and the real language in it, maybe I would have enjoyed it more. I'm not sure. I would come in at a solid meh 5 for it, but those voice actors were so bad, and the dubbing was so bad. I'm thinking that trailed it massively down. It's sort of about evilness and things not being as they seem, and sort of like a mystery to get to the bottom of what's happened to the kids. Excuse me. It's okay, but I certainly will never watch it again. Maybe I should seek it out. You see, at the minute, when I watch movies, I don't really buy DVDs. I tend to stream loads. I've got different memberships for different streaming services. Then there's ones you can buy individually, like on YouTube. There's all different ways, but this one anyway, I got sent to me and it was dubbed, and it was awful. The dubbing, that is. So yeah, I'm not gonna waste any more time. So that was Here Comes the Devil. Should be Spanish. I think I said that. Right, TV this week. This is why I haven't watched this many movies, because I've been watching quite a bit of TV this week. Castle Rock, I caught up to episode 9. I think that's the most recent one released. Really enjoying it. But it's quite slow going, but Stephen King does have a tendency to that. It's not on the same league, in my viewpoint, to The Stand or, what was the other one he did? Storm of the Century. I prefer those two what are they, TV series. The Stand being my favourite, I love that. This one's been plodding along. I think if you watch this, watch this, you'd enjoy it more. I've been watching it week on week, although I did just binge 3 episodes because I'd missed a few weeks. But the last episode, episode 9, turned everything on its head, and it was just like, It's like, what the hell's going on? I'm kind of not really understanding what's happening here, and I'm really confused. Won't go into any detail about why I say that, it just is completely out of left field for me. So yeah, it's good, but it's not as good as I was hoping it was going to be. Next thing was the first episode of the Purge TV series, which I watched a couple of nights ago. Really liked this, really promising, really engaged with the characters. They're setting the characters up in this, so there wasn't that much action, but that never bothers me. I would prefer to get a good basis with the characters first, which this did, introduced us to them. You sort of have an affinity with certain ones already, so yeah, I did enjoy that. So I'd recommend that. Hopefully it'll continue being, I think it's a 10-part series. Hopefully it'll continue being half decent. I'm going to admit this, I've been watching Celebrity Big Brother. It's a weakness, as I said before, as is I'm a Celebrity, get me out of here. The people this year have been pretty pants. Haven't been particularly interesting. Kirstie Alley's in it, I really like her. But other than that, it's been pretty meh. But do I watch it every night anyway? Yes, I do. I'm glad I watched it for one reason. People in the US will not have a baldy notion what I'm talking about here, but anyone in the UK will know exactly what I'm talking about. There's a girl in this by the name of Roxanne Pallett. She is a soap actress. I think she used to be in Emmerdale. There's a lad in it also who used to be, I think, in Coronation Street. Correct me if I'm wrong, folks. Basically, there's a lot of play fighting and arsing about going on in the house. And there'd been he'd gone up to her like this on her side, but he hadn't actually physically hit her. He'd went, really soft like that. But
I've got a little towel that I'm going to use.
Ow! Woman beater.
Go on, what?
Did
it, sorry?
But he was wearing a ring. The ring's very, very slight. Basically, if you looked at this back on video, his hands basically hardly met contact. It's like this, you know what I mean? And she was like, ow, that hurt. But then she laughed it off and says, I was going to do your washing, but I think I'll shrink them now. And that was how it was. I says, oh, I'm sorry, okay, oh yeah. So anyway, long story short, as the time goes on, she massively over-exaggerates this. She goes to the diary room in Big Brother and says she does not feel safe being in the same room as this person. She sleeps next door. She says, I can't believe you're allowing him to stay. He has punched me deliberately. And this goes on, and she goes around everyone else in the house and tells them all that he punched her deliberately. And everyone's turning against this lad, and he's done nothing. And at no stage did the company Big Brother play the footage back for the housemates to see that this didn't happen. Basically, long story short, she has left because it's come to light that she was talking out of her arse. She didn't want to come out and face the public, so she went out via the back door. She has since on British TV been interviewed on quite a few different shows, just apologising massively. But it's come out since then that people that have worked with her says that she does this sort of thing regularly. She accuses people of having been violent to her when they haven't. And she basically risked this. Now, to be fair, the guy that she accused is a pain in the arse. But she risked this guy's career, she risked his reputation. If that particular incident hadn't been caught on camera, she was going around telling everyone that he had physically punched her on purpose numerous times, and she did a reenactment of it on other lads that were in there, and she was properly getting stuck into them. And it's disgrace. It's become a massive big storm in the UK, and a lot of people are talking about it. And thankfully I was sat watching it on the night, and there's a lot of what was said that's not actually being put across on the telly, and in interviews and stuff. But I watched it, so I saw it all. So for once, my big brother, a bit of gossip. That the woman in me is coming out, a little bit of gossip. So yeah, Big Brother. The last thing I watched this week, this is a bit of a more serious one, was called Massacre at Ballymurphy. Ballymurphy is a little village in Northern Ireland. In 1971, there was... I'm not going to go into all the politics and history of Northern Ireland, but long story short, everyone knows about Bloody Sunday, where people were shot by the army for no reason, shot in the back, etc., etc. But I think it was 10 days, or Ballymurphy was just prior to Bloody Sunday, and the 1st Battalion Parachute Regiment actually shot and killed 11 innocent people. It's not talked about an awful lot. A lot of people don't know about it. They reported to the police. They shot like grandmothers and people running to try and help other people. There was families were being kept in their houses and not allowed out. And a man came round with a van shouting bread and milk for children and babies, but people couldn't get to the shops because the army wouldn't allow them out of their houses. And this man was trying to deliver bread and milk, and they stopped him and pointed a gun in his face, and the man dropped dead of a heart attack. He's not considered one of the victims of Ballymurphy, but basically the way they treated people at that time. And I'm not saying for a second that this is all army personnel were this way, because that's not the case. At the same period of time in Derry, there was another battalion, and they adopted a completely different approach to managing things, and they got on well with the people, and everything was dandy-o. But they actually sent the lead guy from Ballymurphy up to Derry, where it was working perfectly fine, because they didn't like how they were doing it in Derry. They weren't strict enough, they weren't aggressive enough with the people. And very shortly after all that happened, Bloody Sunday happened, where even more people were shot and killed, including a priest. A priest was actually shot and killed in this incident also. And they reported to the press that they were in a 2-hour battle with 20 armed men who had rifles, machine guns, and some sort of pistols. But yeah, I watched that, and I don't know what gets reported outside of the UK, but very much on the mainland, as in England, Scotland, Wales, there's a very one-sided of things reported to the press. My husband's English, obviously. I lived in England myself for 10 years. You hear one side of things. It's very much Republicans are bad. The only terrorist organisation is the IRA. But if you live here, if you've grown up here, that's not the case. The IRA I have no support for them, no love for them, no nothing. Just because I say they're not the only ones at fault does not mean I support them. There are a plethora of different political organisations, illegal paramilitary organisations is the word I'm looking for, that shoot and kill people, that give punishment beatings, that kneecap, that all these things. It just would be nice if the truth was getting out there to the world's media, and it hasn't historically. Hopefully going forward it may do. Who knows? I mean, at the moment today, I'm sorry this is going on to a bit of a blither, but myself and Darren went to a petition centre to sign a petition to remove Ian Paisley, who is the head of the DUP, Democratic Unionist Party for Northern Ireland. Anyone in the UK will know they are dinosaurs. They do not believe in a woman's right to an abortion, even in the case of rape. Even in the case that the child is going to be born with serious issues and is going to die and is going to suffer. They do not believe in gay marriage. Northern Ireland is the only state in the UK, even in Ireland, that gay marriage is illegal here, which is just ridiculous. The DUP don't allow it. They keep trying to blame Catholicism, but Catholicism has got nothing to do with it. It's the DUP. Anyway, Ian Paisley, his father was a minister who has since passed. He followed in his father's footsteps as a DUP representative, and long story short, he agreed a deal with Sri Lanka that he would cover the atrocities and war crimes and the genocide that was going on of the Sri Lankan people. in return for a few posh holidays with him and his family. Now, how this has been reported in the press is that all he did was take a backhander and a few holidays, so sure, what's the harm in that? All politicians are a bit dishonest. He was only taking a few holidays. What isn't being reported is that he lobbied and he contacted Tony Blair, the Prime Minister of the UK at the time, and made attempts to try and get the UK to not intervene in the genocide that was taking place in Sri Lanka. Anyway, there is a petition at the moment. If we want him removing from office, we need to sign that petition. The petition is being run by the DUP, his political party. Myself and Darren went to sign the petition today. A lot of people want to sign it but are too frightened to sign it because they don't want to be seen going in to do it. Kind of like when they used to have strikes, if you went to work, you were, what did they used to call you? A scab or something? Can't remember. But people want to sign it, but they're too frightened to be seen going in to sign it. We went in today to sign it. It's open for, I think 6 weeks. It closes next week. There's hardly anyone going near it, and there are 3 people sitting behind a desk looking really officious with all this paperwork. I don't know who's paying them to sit in their arse all day. They wouldn't even need one person if they, there's barely anyone going in to sign the bloody thing. But yeah, that just tells you what politics is like in, well, probably all over to be fair, but yeah. So we signed it, so let's hope. But the thing is, this politician has said, even if he gets ousted from the DUP, he is going to stand as an independent candidate anyway, and these dickheads will vote him back in again. And the whole thing makes me sick. It really does. Yeah. So yeah, that's me blithering. Anything else this week? I'm aware that I've spoken for way too long about politics, which I did not intend to do. So yeah, I will end it there for now. And it's over and out for now. For Lisa Loves.